We are live here with Ty Robinson from Nebraska. Ty, what's going on, man?
I'm having a great time. Thanks for having me.
You surprised? He looks like he could be modeling. All these guys are like sleek, slim, and trim.
Can I just say, like, it upsets me as kind of a dumpy kind of shaped guy that we got these 300-pounders walking around looking like lean, like they could step on a bodybuilding stage. It upsets me a little bit. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
You gotta love the frame. You're smiling. You feel good. You look like you look good, man. You got to be living your best life, and right before the season starts.
Yeah, you and Jay really helped boost the confidence walking out here with the nice suit on from Gary Michaels. So yeah, no, I'm feeling great. It's great to be out here to represent Nebraska at Big Ten Media Days.
Man, it's a cool thing that you decided to come back, right? Like, I mean, you had the opportunity to maybe explore some other options, whether it's professional football or whatever it was. And I've kind of been fascinated by this, the guys that either they don't get in the portal, they have an opportunity to leave and decide to come back. Just what about Nebraska and this program? Have you just said, like, I think I want to run it back one more time?
Yeah, man, I think just who I am as a person, I'm super loyal. And Nebraska's been really loyal to me, so I feel like I owe them everything throughout my football career in college. And I think coming back, with Coach Rhule and Coach Knighton, seeing the potential that I had last year to what it could be if I stayed another year. I had shoulder surgery that last January, and I was out for 6 months. So I really only had the summer and fall camp to really get ready and get back into football shape. And, towards the end of the season last year, I think I started to finally click with me and be able to play good football. So I think my thought process was, come back for another year. It's not the end of the world. Get to train under some of the great guys in this country and then become a football player.
Yeah, that wasn't even really your probably first big decision. I remember being on campus right after Coach Rhule first got here. You guys were talking out in front of the stadium. It was just the two of you.
Yeah.
And it appeared to be a fairly good conversation. It from far away, it looked like it was very thoughtful, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you had some things to think about then too, right? The buy-in, the new staff, like you got to kind of go all the way back to that moment where you're like, you either thought he was going to have it or you didn't.
Right,
what was that like?
Yeah, no, I mean, I
you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that conversation. He was just kind of getting to know each other. I think he'd just come off that press conference, and he was coming out and introduced himself. I introduced myself, and he's just kind of talking about the things he wanted to start here at Nebraska, and kind of what the greatest thing I've seen him do is want to learn the history of Nebraska and the culture. And I mean, he is so. The way he thinks is so methodical and just so going through all of that, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I was like, all right, I'm going to see what he's all about. And, through the first 2 weeks, I was like, I'm bought in. Like I've heard everything I need to hear. And if he sticks by his word, this is going to be a lot of fun to be a part of.
Does the methodology match how good of a speaker he is?
Yes, 100%. That man is thinking 20 words ahead. That man is racing. I mean, the methodology is there.
You know what's wild is I feel like I can ask him anything. We talked to him earlier yesterday, whenever it was. I don't know. It's a blur here at Big Ten Media Days. But, I feel like I can ask him just about anything, and he's already thought about it, which is a wild.
From Bushido to Shogun to
anything, right? I'm talking
the Cooking Channel to World War II to Tampa 2 versus Chopper, right? Like
we're getting from like philosophy to football to whatever and everything in between. And I feel like I can ask that dude anything, and I have some level of certainty that he's already thought about it. And what makes me feel a little dumb that I didn't think about it earlier, but it's incredible to just like, what's that look like up close and personal when you just have this confidence? You're like, I can bring anything to this guy, and he's thought about it already before I even did.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when we talk football, I mean, my football knowledge is already expanded when he's explaining, an offense, or he's coming and watch film with us. I'm like, I really didn't really think of it that way. I mean, he used to be a former D-line coach, so he knows what he's talking about. And then he coached my coach, and now my coach is coaching me. So it's practically, word of mouth towards, all the way down to me. So yeah, no, he's definitely thought of everything.
So the culture has to be really, really good, because your position group is one of a few that is pretty competitive, right? I mean, you play 7-8 guys. led by the gruesome twosome in the middle, right? I mean, there has to be kind of this level of comfort and being other centered to want the young guys to flourish while you're still doing your thing.
Yeah.
Who starts that?
Yeah. So I think, like, are you asking like who, like the young guy? Yeah. So Cam Lenhart's probably been, a guy that I've really liked watching. And when he got here, he was an early enrollee from IMG. Judy, he came in from Texas A&M. I mean, watching him flourish. Vincent Carroll, James,
you don't mind
Kyle
doing
Allen.
that, right?
No, not at all.
That is cool.
Yeah, no, because my thing is when I committed here in 2019, their big thing was, listen, it's going to be a rebuild, but I want to bring Nebraska back. And so that's been, the goal of mine. So when I leave here, I want to know that the guys behind me are going to be thinking the same way that I was and just making this place better.
How much does the culture replicate that?
100%. And the thing is, the culture in the locker room between the guys since I've been here hasn't wavered, hasn't changed once. I mean, it's a pretty close, tight-knit group in there. I mean, I can go over and talk with the young guys. I can talk with the freshmen that's this guy here. I can go talk to the receivers and, joke around and just have a conversation with them, DBs, whoever it may be. That's how close of a locker room we have.
You see it modeled with the staff?
Yeah, 100%. Coach Rhule runs a tight ship.
Everybody says that.
Coach Rhule runs a tight ship, but, it's all love, and you can tell it comes from a great place in his heart. And, I mean, his staff reflects that as well.
Ty, at what point did you mentioned Cam Lenhart, right? You had some, I know Prince Will kind of, was playing a little D-lines, playing some jack, whatever. I'm going to lump him in here too. At what point did you know some of those young guys were like, oh, these guys might be pretty good?
Yeah, I think it was I got to see it a little bit in spring ball last year since I was just watching because I was out with my shoulder. And I saw a lot of potential. And then I got to be in the summer and, watching is a lot different than doing it with the guys. And, I could tell that their mentality, I mean, it's just gritty, just doing the work, not really complaining, just, all right, let's get this done. Let's do what we have to do and get out of here.
Is that the biggest difference between when you see young guys come in that are ready to go and young guys that maybe need a minute? Is it the physicality more, or is it just like the mental side of it where they're just locked in?
It's definitely probably the mentality of it. And, I mean, some guys are more physically. I mean, I was a guy that had to come in and wait my turn. I mean, Coach Rhule showed a clip of me in fall camp last year, my freshman year. He's like, look at this guy. You do not think this guy would play a snap of football before. And now he's one of our starting D tackles. So, just being able to watch that mentality, I think. And I mean, our group is pretty special. Sometimes just one guy is just more ready than the other guy, but there's a chance. I mean, T Knight wants to play at least 8 to 10 guys a game.
I believe
to have a rotation, and he wants to get everybody as much as he can in the game.
How much of what you guys do you appreciate or take away from how tight knit and what a one unit the guys that you go against every day are on that offensive line? Because that's the other group that I would say just watching is the closest to the camaraderie and moving as one.
Literally, they literally move as one. I mean, we joke around and call them the herd, but I mean, before lifts, they'll line meet up group together and they'll go into the lift. So they're always together, whatever it is, football wise, doing what they need to do. I came in with a lot of those guys, and it's just awesome to finally see them become the football players that I knew that they could become. And I mean, they're making me better every day. They're making us better every day, and they've come a long way. I'm really, really proud of those guys.
I'm always captivated listening to you. How does such a nice guy turn it on come game time? You play so much different than your personality.
I think it's just, it goes into that whole mentality thing. 2 years ago or 3 years ago, maybe Jay Foreman and Jason Peter would come out to practice with us.
Guys, yeah.
And, I kind of understood it in high school, and then I got here, and JP really stood by the defensive line for most of practice, and I think he helped mentor me into kind of that.
Is that what we call it now?
That's a nice way to put it.
Mindset. Yeah, mentor me.
That guy peed on my shoes in the locker room. I know all about that mentoring.
There's lots of mentoring going on there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
they were all of 11s to be exact.
Yeah, no, just help me kind of hone in on that aggressiveness, that what it takes to play D-line. I mean, you can't be a nice guy playing D-line. You're just going to get pushed around, shoved around. But and then definitely, just hype myself before the game. I'm usually by myself, go in the hot tub, cold tub, take a shower, and then I got my headphones on for the rest until we're out there in pregame.
Ty, about a minute left here with you real quick. You had a defense last year that was really good. I think took some people by surprise with how good you guys were. What's the mentality of following that up and trying to improve on that this year?
So Coach White likes to say this, this defense this year hasn't done nothing. Last year doesn't mean anything. We are starting over. You guys, I mean, you know, as the older guys who played last year, like, okay, well, I mean, we'll follow you along on this. But, I mean, to a certain point, he's not wrong. I mean, the new defense that we have, there's new guys in it. We got to learn to find a way to play with each other, communicate with each other, and be able to be out there and play as one in every position.
If you could take sacks or tackles for losses, where do you want to improve the most?
Sacks, definitely. It would hurt me to only have one sack last year, as I was so close to a lot of them. But I think that's been kind of my thing through the spring and the summers is trying to find it to get that one extra step to get closer.
I mean, you're looking lean and mean. I think you might have got that extra step. That's Ty Robinson. Ty, we appreciate the time, and good luck this year.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tate.